Once upon a time in a sleepy, unremarkable town named Ellensford, rumors swirled about a particular creepypasta character, Slender Josie. Unlike the faceless horror of Slender Man, Josie was a girl, or at least she started as one. Legend had it that she was a 16-year-old who had vanished after a camping trip gone wrong, leaving behind cryptic diary entries filled with her descent into madness. Teens from surrounding towns whispered about her, sharing tales of how she roamed the woods beyond the suburban sprawl, luring the curious to their doom. Some claimed she wore a dress made of shadows, while others said she had harrowing, hollow eyes, deeper than midnight. Caleb, a teenager with a penchant for dares and a taste for the macabre, had spent many evenings huddled around flickering screens with his friends, sharing the lore of dread that filled the internet. It was one winter night when the subject of Slender Josie came up again, igniting a firestorm of bets and challenges. "I dare you to spend a night in the woods," intoned Max, his best friend, a glint of mischief in his eyes. The idea was ridiculous. Everyone knew that if you went looking for Josie, she would indeed find you. But Dare Caleb did, embodying the reckless spirit of youth. He gathered supplies, a flashlight, a camping mat, snacks, and a parka to shield himself from the bitter cold. Armed with his phone to document the night, he ventured into the heart of the woods, laughter bubbling beneath the surface as he wrestled with shadows that seemed to dance just beyond his peripheral vision. As dusk settled over the trees, the forest amplified its creaks and groans, reverberating with a haunting melody that made his skin crawl. Caleb made a small campfire and settled against a tree, filming pieces for his unwelcome, Slender Josie experience. Up until that point, nothing unusual happened, which somewhat reassured him. He could always spin this into a thrilling story, right? But just as the last glimpse of sunlight dimmed, Caleb's heart raced at the sound of a heartbeat, outside his own. It was rhythmic and low, echoing through the woods. Ignoring the chill that ran up his spine, he continued filming, just as he had planned, when a cold wind whipped through the trees, causing the flames to flicker violently. The shadows twisted and contorted as if alive, casting long fingers across the ground. He could have sworn he saw something move, a figure in the darkness. Caleb's bravado flickered. He ignored the raw instinct to flee and instead leaned into the tension that buzzed in the air. He decided to call out for her. "Slender Josie, I dare you to show yourself," he shouted, unable to contain the thrill. For a brief moment, only silence followed, thick and pregnant in the freezing dark. Then, a soft sound, a giggle, echoed through the woods, as if mocking him. The wind's chill heightened, causing goosebumps to spread across his buzzing skin. He swung his flashlight toward the sound, revealing nothing. Okay, this is just a prank," Caleb said uneasily, trying to regain control of the situation. But under the white beam of his flashlight, he caught a glimpse of the forest moving, branches swaying as if someone were weaving between them just out of sight. "Is this some kind of joke, Max?" he called, but his voice trembled, uncertainty sinking in. The giggle came again, closer this time, rising into a shrill laugh that lingered long after it faded. Caleb jumped to his feet, squinting into the dark, scanning the trees that seemed to close in around him. And then, he saw her. Slender Josie stood a distance away, her silhouette almost skeletal against the darkness. Her dress ripped at the edges, shadows swirling around her form like a living cloth. Her eyes stared back, deep voids that seemed to pull the very light from the air. Frozen in fear, Caleb's phone slipped from his grip, its screen flickering before shattering on the hard ground. The laughter grew louder. "You called me, Caleb." I listened. It was a melodic voice that dripped with playful malice as she advanced, gliding over the ground without a single sound. "Wait, But before he could finish, Josie lunged, her presence overwhelming, a silhouette of despair made flesh. Shadows twisted around her, pulling Caleb into their depths, clutching him like desperate hands. He only remembered fear as the night swallowed him whole. In the town of Ellensford, Caleb was never seen again. The only thing that remained was a videotape unearthed by authorities weeks later, a flickering image on the screen. The last recorded moments of a boy who dared to summon what he couldn't comprehend. And deep within the whispers of the woods, Slender Josie laughed, now with one more lost soul to keep her company.